Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Max Darrett. As some of you may know, today is International Men's Day, and given the fact that Honey Badger Radio's identity is centered around men's issues and helping men to construct a positive identity for themselves, naturally we wanted to put out a video in honor of this day. So the inevitable question that follows is, what kind of video do we put out? I personally didn't really know where to start. Even though my superiors here at Honey Badger Radio are gracious enough to provide me a platform to talk about what I want to talk about, not all of what I talk about is related to men's issues. I don't even think it's accurate to call myself a men's rights activist, though I have covered men's rights issues in the past. However, when discussing potential topics, my boss, Allison Tiemann, drew attention to the front page of Google. This just happened to catch her eye. As you all know, whenever a special date in our collective calendar rolls by, like Christmas or Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day, Google tends to put out a design in celebration of that day. They've even changed the logo on International Women's Day, and rightly so. You know, women should be celebrated for their contributions, especially on arguably the most globally recognized internet platform. Yet on International Men's Day, there is no catchy design. There's no celebration. Granted, some people might argue that the normal Google font is suitable for International Men's Day, and these people might say things to the effect of, oh, every day is International Men's Day, because supposedly men have all the power in our society and their efforts are always recognized. We here at Honey Badger Radio argue the opposite. Men are individuals with strengths and faults that are not always determined by their group identity. We wish that one day both men and women can break from stereotypical gendered constraints, but now we all still have work to do. Like I said, unlike my peers here at Honey Badger Radio, I'm not an expert when it comes to speaking about men's issues and their unique contributions, so I shall now turn you over to somebody who is an expert, the aforementioned Allison Tiemann.
Dominant political interests define the male gender role as privileged, advantaged, powerful. So to be seen as vulnerable, men must first be stripped of their gender identity by having their lives shattered. They then become non-men, a homeless, a drug addiction, a mental illness, a suicide. I call that process the greased funnel. A man slides in and disappears as a man, reappearing at the bottom, broken, often beyond repair, but we can see his injury finally, because we no longer see the man at all. The gender role that this dominant political interest enforces in men aligns smoothly, flawlessly, with the changes we're seeing over time to the gender identity associated with adult human males. Man as a word originally meant hand, as in manuscript, manufacture, manicure, and of course, manual labor. It referred to humans because, of course, we're the animals with hands. Man means hands. Male hands, female hands, just means hands. In fact, in Latin, man's grammatical gender is feminine. It's a gender-neutral suffix, looking for a prefix to give it value. Woman is a man that has a feminine function. Her hands hold babies. Like a fireman is a set of hands who has the function of fighting fires. A statesman, a set of hands that serves the state, and so on. But the word man without its prefix, what is that? It's empty hands. Hands that have no value without a service to provide. And unlike woman, man is an entity that provides no innate service, holds nothing in and of itself. A man is simply grammatically incomplete, a set of hands with no use. Men are idle hands. And we all know idle men, hands, whichever. Idle men are the devil's workshop. Now, man replaced the decidedly not gender-neutral term were, itself a derivative of the Roman ver. Ver means adult human male. It also means bravery, and is the root of virtue, virility, and virtuosity. The idea that vir also means courage is a naturalistic observation, and science supports that observation. Testosterone is associated with a higher risk tolerance, thus greater risk-taking behavior. It's associated with pro-social competition, a desire for justice, and a willingness to see wrongdoers punished, cooperation, paternal instinct, and pair bonding. Those are all features of high levels of testosterone. So vir are innovators, policemen, rescuers, athletes, soldiers, husbands, and fathers. And rather than those qualities being something they need to be forced or molded into by society, like someone putting a pair of idle hands to work to prevent evil. It's a potential that is innate. That is what the Romans recognized with their word, ver, the potential in every adult human male. We started out recognizing adult human males' innate potential, and then we stopped and started to see them as having to earn a value, as idle hands that need to be put to work to not be evil. And now in our modern age, an adult human male doesn't just have to earn a value through his actions. Any value that's seen to be earned by him due to being an adult human male is suspect as ill-gotten gains. Those idle hands at work. All because of our uncomfortable relationship with the idea of adult human males having innate value. A subjectivity separate from that of women, a hidden prefix for that thirsty suffix man. And we don't challenge this rigid gender role for men. That's where the greased funnel comes in. A man has to have his gender identity stripped from him in order to be seen as vulnerable. And by the time that's happened, he's broken, often beyond repair, if anyone even cares to try and repair him. That means we can only recognize a man in need when he's completely shattered. At that point, we have to invest tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands in his recovering if we want to see a positive outcome. Or, more likely, we just shrug our shoulders, throw him in society's garbage heap, plug our ears so we don't have to hear the whimpers of dying men, and turn our back on the wreckage. In order to challenge this greased funnel, we can't just reiterate the issues men face over and over again. Suicide, homelessness, veteran issues, workplace deaths, lack of custody, etc., etc., etc. What we need to do is to change how we see men. Men, fuck it. We have to value adult human males, not just for what they do, but what they have the potential to do, for the unique qualities they bring to our culture and our world, for their subjectivity, the way they think and feel, and recognizing it as having its own value, because it is a potential that would not exist if adult human men did not exist. That way, we don't have to wait till an adult human man is shattered before we help him. We can intervene to nudge him back from the lip of that greased funnel immediately, because we would all realize the potential that could be lost if he's sucked in. And that's how you challenge the greased funnel, by recognizing the unique potential adult human males have, a potential we are poorer for losing. So this is the Google Doodle that they should have doodled. If Google cared about stopping most suicides, preventing racist and homophobic violence, the brunt of which disproportionately falls on men, preventing the great majority of workplace deaths, getting veterans the support they need. If Google cared about men, if Google cared about the group of people who are the primary reason Google exists at all. After all, when you define a group of people down to the product of their hands, don't be surprised when they produce a lot with their hands. This is the Google Doodle in a world where we recognize men's potential, not just their usefulness. It would have innovation. It would have all kinds of invented forms of cooperative competition. Chess, football, basketball. It would have justice, policemen, firemen, protection, soldiers, and it would have love. The love of a father for his children, the love of a husband for his wife. Now look at the Google Doodle Google didn't doodle, and tell me you don't want to live in a world where Google did doodle this. Happy International Men's Day.